Okay. Um, I'm just figuring out how we got here. Of course, I've been figuring out for a while now, but I was talking with Gnostic Books the other day, and he made a valid point that the energy can't be created. In other words, if we follow the energy, it always comes from a greater source of energy. And it's true that energy isn't created. It's comes from an infinite energy potential. And the same way, the power that makes the universe comes from an infinite energy. And and the things in the universe or the things in nature come from an infinite intelligence or wisdom and knowledge and understanding. So if you follow the evidence, it's never created. Hello, Honesty Angel. Energy is never created because it's eternal. It's infinite. And God is infinite, eternal power. So there was that point that I was trying to explain, but I wasn't able to get it across very well at the time. But it's clear when you follow the evidence of everything we see that there's an eternal, all-knowing, all-powerful maker, which is what the Bible says in the first place. So, and in Romans it says that creation is evidence so that people are without excuse and his divine attributes are clearly seen. So if you follow the evidence of intelligence, of energy, and everything we see, follow it back, you follow it back to an infinite energy potential. It's all knowing, all wise. So it's clear as day. It's just that people don't want to see it. And another thing with the origin of the universe, people keep thinking, people are so, I don't know if they wanted people to be in the dark about it when they explained relativity, but it's really not complicated. They're thinking that everything came from a single point, but the universe didn't come from nothing or a single point. It came from everything everywhere. In other words, God is everywhere, and his power to make the universe doesn't come from a single point. It comes from everywhere. So also the dilation of time and space comes from everywhere, because it's matter that dilates time and space down to a limited, a measurable amount of, or quantifiable amount of time and space. So that light is instantaneous, but we don't live at the speed of light. We don't live in eternity, but the energy to make the universe comes from eternity. So, but we can see the light because it's instantaneous, but when we go to measure the light, it takes time to arrive. But it's actually instantaneous. It actually hits our eyes instantly. But then, of course, we can't measure it because we exist in slow motion. We exist in dilated, quantifiable, measurable time and distance. And that's how God knows the end from the beginning too, because he's in eternity and he can see the end from the beginning, whereas we can't. So it's really not complicated. We just have to look at what the evidence is. And the scientists, and they just recently just are questioning dark energy now. There's it turns out that their evidence of dark energy is not very doesn't have much of a basis, and they're questioning the basis of dark energy now, which we questioned all along anyways, right? we I mean, but anyways, but they're thinking in terms of everything coming from a single point, and or energy coming from a single point, and then they're thinking of the formation of hydrogen, and then from hydrogen they're thinking about the formation of matter. But hydrogen is a gas and it dissipates, so hydrogen is not going to coalesce. So if hydrogen is not able to coalesce, there's not going to be a formation of planets from the gas of hydrogen. Now they think that somehow it's possible. Of course, they're always looking for trying to figure out how they can make it be possible, but I find it hard to believe that they can prove that a hydrogen gas can coalesce and make planets, because there has to be a lot of hydrogen in one place with huge amounts of gravity, even to make these hydrogen planets that we have. And you have to have matter first. I mean, with God you can see He has all power. He can make things, and there are forces in the universe with the power of gravity to make the elements now, but how you get the initial hydrogen to coalesce is a big question, because you have to have the hydrogen before you can make the helium, and then the other elements, of course. And then it's just and then another thing is the existence of matter itself, because when you go to make matter, you have matter and antimatter from energy. When you make matter from energy, you have both matter and antimatter, and they cancel each other out. So they can't figure out why we have matter and the antimatter didn't destroy the matter that we have. So that's another thing. But anyways, if they were thinking in terms of the universe coming from everywhere instead of from a single point, it would make a lot more sense. And of course the Doppler effect of the light, the stretching of the light, is due to the stretching of space, I believe, being pulled into the black holes around the universe. But they're questioning dark energy now, and of course I always question dark matter too, because they don't know how much matter's out there. And when you go into a black hole, there's a lot of room for a lot of matter in and around the black hole, and they're just probably not measuring it right, or the amount of matter. They probably don't realize the amount of matter that's in the galaxy that's holding the galaxy together. Plus there's the other effect that the galaxy runs at different rates of time. So there's all these factors that you have to consider when looking at the spin of the galaxy and things like that. So, but anyways, I pretty much figured out how the universe came into being, because all you have to do is follow the evidence. Because energy can't come from an equal amount of energy because it's a it's an energy follows an uneven gradient. Energy goes to where there's less energy. It goes from where there is energy to where there's less energy. It's and as such, it always has to come from a greater source of energy. Any amount of energy has to come from a greater source because you can't have because it would just disperse. Energy would just disperse, and that's ordered energy in the universe too, and it's dispersing or going from order to disorder. It's called entropy. So it's kind of confusing because it goes from a high state of order to a low state of order, or a low state of entropy to a high state of entropy. It's kind of the opposite the way they explain it. So it's confusing to people, I guess. But anyways, it always has to come from a greater source, a greater power. Like when we charge our cell phone, the energy bank has to be higher than what the cell phone has in it. So it's an uneven gradient of energy, and the energy flows from the higher source to the lesser source. And then the same thing is true for that energy bank. It has to come from a higher source of energy. And it's always flowing from a higher source. And this is the point Gnostic Book was trying to make with me the other day, is that it can't be created. And it's true, it can't be created. It's not created because it's eternal. The infinite potential of God is eternal.